Update 2 is out, not without a bunch of problems. Let's dive right into it, no intro. So here's my main issues with Update 2 of Bridger Western. A majority of the content in this update can only be experienced by a small percentage of the player base. And what do I mean by this? The main bulk of this update was Tusk Act 4, D4C Love Train, Vampire, Ballbreaker, and Sex Pistols. And this content is locked behind either RNG or tedious entertainment. For example, Tusk Act 4. To experience Tusk Act 4, you need to have Tusk. Tusk is extremely tedious to get. You need to get the Saints Left Arm to spawn, which is 1 in 5 chance every hour if you're lucky. And then you need to be able to merge a fit. If you're lucky, you'll be able to do that. And after all that, you finally have a 6% chance of getting Tusk. To get the Act 4, you need to farm more corpse parts, and then Tusk Act 4 has its own special obtainment method. The problem is, I would say not even 1% of the player base of this game has Tusk. It's extremely difficult to get. If you have a life, you're not going to be able to get this stand. Same thing with D4C Love Train. To get D4C, it has a special obtainment, a lot of RNG, a lot of grinding to get it. And only people who have D4C, I would say less than 1% of the player base has it, are going to be able to get Love Train. Vampire is at least a little more accessible to your average player, but to fight the boss that you need to obtain it, you need to get an item which is obtained through RNG, which is still bullshit, which is ironic because on their Discord they said, we tried to make these new obtainments way less RNG compared to before. But you need an RNG item in order to get Vampire. You need RNG to get Tusk, RNG, get D4C in order to experience all of this new content. Ballbreaker, you need Spin. At least Spin isn't RNG to obtain, but it's still extremely tedious and boring. Who is actually going to that Reds fighting club? I didn't even know it was in the game until they released Spin. Shitty ass obtainment method, and you still need corpse parts, which are extremely contested right now with the new update. Sex Pistols, at least it's not a 5%, it's not a rare stand from the arrows, but there's still a ton of stands in the game. It's going to be really difficult for your average player who doesn't want to have to participate in the trading server to get it, which I feel like you shouldn't have to participate outside of the game on a Discord in order to experience the full scope of this game. And you can call this copium, you can say, oh cat, you're just so lazy, just get in there and start grinding. But if they keep releasing shit and it's updates that majority of people can't experience, can't enjoy, then the game's just gonna die. As you can see right now on the player numbers, it's not as high as you would expect an update after a month to be. It's because the majority of people can't do the stuff they want to do. People want to use Tusk Act 4, people want to use Love Train. It's way too hard to get to this stuff right now. If they don't make some sort of change soon, the game's just gonna die. Gonna be dead before the next Steel Bar Run episode comes out. So past those main issues, I think there's a lot of stupid changes, like they nerfed Spin again. Spin is already trash, it's super hard to use. Going against, if it's guns versus Spin, guns are gonna win 9 times out of 10. There's extremely small situations where Spin might be better. Overall, I'll always take guns over Spin. They added new cards with it, one that gives you a spiral style with Spin, which is absolute garbage. I tried it out, it's garbage. They added another card that makes your charge last longer, which is absolutely unnecessary because it was already extremely fast charging and lasted a while. It's not necessary to run that card. One of the worst changes they've made this update was making bait disappear when you use it. Fishing was already tedious enough. They made it even more tedious by making it so that you have to buy bait every time you want to use it. That is just complete AIDS. Before, it was just you would click, use the fishing pole, boom, you get a fish. You just do that for several hours till you get your arrow. Now you're gonna need to be buying bait, which is gonna cost money. Extremely annoying change, just makes everyone worse off. They made Noom, the stand, unobtainable. This is extremely stupid. They made it unobtainable because exploiters were using it to impersonate people to get them banned. Why did they just not remove the disguise function from it instead of making it unobtainable? That was not the only thing Noom did. It was able to give you melee buffs and speed buffs. Why would they completely remove it? That's completely stupid. Now, the last bad thing I want to talk about is stand storage. They added stand discs for storing your stand. The only way to get them right now is with Robux. Yeah, that's right. You hear me right. You need Robux in order to get the stand discs. That is complete bullshit. They said they're planning a free way, but the update should have released with a free method. This is complete cash grab. This is complete bullshit. That's not to say I don't think there are good things in this update, though. Let me get into that. I think the bug fixes, besides the bait change, are all great. Bug fixes are always good. There's still some really annoying bugs, like when you die and respawn and then you die immediately. That's an extremely annoying bug that I'm still experiencing. The new cards are very creative and they allow for a lot of diverse builds. I think that's what's going to keep this game alive, what's going to separate it from other games. There's a lot of build potential and variety in this game. There's a clear meta, but you could still do really fun builds. They added the settings menu finally. You can disable when you die. It won't randomly change your spawn to the dig site. It was extremely annoying, but now they removed that. That's a great change. You can disable the music. You don't have to do that every time you join the game. It's overall a great change to the game, a great addition. I'm happy they added that. The Killer Queen refresh. I have Killer Queen. It feels really good. SHA is actually usable now. That's basically all I wanted to say. If you have a bone to pick with me, if you have anything else to add, let me know in the comments. Subscribe, trying to hit 100 subscribers, and yeah, later.